I had the pleasure of meeting our next speaker at a social venture type conference earlier in the year, and being part of a small group that was workshopping, brainstorming some marketing ideas for her. And it took an incredible amount of discipline to not jump on her during that process, and instead actually wait our way through before I said, "You have to come and talk at Copia, please, please, please." Because I love the inspiration for her business. I love if you were watching the slideshow, that beautiful photograph of her closed eyes with snowflakes landing on her tongue, and wanting to have a business where that could actually be part of how you make your living, right? We're happy to be showing people a spectrum of businesses and how you can grow to a certain size and have, millions of units and truckloads of things and major retailers and all those sorts of things. But for a lot of people, moving in the natural and organic space is about a lifestyle business. And it's about hanging out with the people that you want to hang out with, and eating what you want to eat, and playing the way that you want to play, and just making a good living doing it, not necessarily a huge one. So Peggy's had a lifelong career in the food industry. She's been a buyer and a product developer for large gourmet food stores in New York. And then she traveled around the world with rock bands as a chef for 20 years. Cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get very many of those stories here tonight. There are children in the room. But on some other, we'll do like Copia adult in the summer at a barbecue or something, and we'll get some of those other stories. Peggy believes that genuine, honest, good ingredients are all you need to make something that is amazing and fresh and delicious. Her Frostbites snow cone stand turns up at farmers markets all along the sea to sky, and gratefully here in the downtown east side for us tonight. And I know you're going to be inspired by Peggy Spier.
So this is my first time speaking ever in front of a crowd, so just bear with me if I pass out. Just go with it. I do want to say that it's not just my business, it's also my husband who's back there shaving the ice. He's the master ice shaver. Hi, Mark. I just want to say, I didn't aspire to be a snow cone, the snow cone lady, or I didn't aspire to make cordials. We didn't have a business plan, we didn't have a game plan. What we had was 2 jobs we were looking to both get out of. My husband worked in the hotel business for about 20 years in Whistler, and he had sort of come to the end, and I was looking to come off the road. As much fun as it is playing with rock stars, it gets a little tiring. So we looked for a way to transition, and we both knew 2 things. One, we wanted to work together, and 2, we wanted to be in the food industry, and we didn't really know what to do, and we didn't know how it was going to play out, and we always just toyed with ideas. For a few years, actually, we just toyed. We were like, well, let's open this, and let's do that, I'm sure, which everyone here has done. And it wasn't until a trip to Hawaii, and I don't know if any of you, when you travel, you kind of say, we travel to eat. We don't really travel to do much else. We want to look at markets. We want to eat at everything, and we would just want to go into a little small hole in the wall. So my husband does the research for that, and we were going to Hawaii, and Hawaii is not exactly known for its amazing cuisine outside of the luau scene, but he wanted to eat shave ice, and not my favorite food, but I thought, okay, well, I'm game, and we went there and we ate copious amounts of it, and we came home, and within 24 hours we had bought that machine that we're using back there, and it wasn't for a business, it totally was for personal use, which is it's a little embarrassing because it was sort of my private margarita machine for about a year. So while I was on the road, I was getting these phone calls from my husband with, I got to get out of this job, and I said, well, put the stupid snow cone machine to work. And I don't know if you know the history behind shave ice. It's not actually, we're not making snow cones, we're actually doing Hawaiian style shave ice. So the history is that the Japanese migrant workers came to Hawaii to work the sugarcane fields. And what they did is they had their machetes and their swords with them and out in the field, and the landowner would bring blocks of ice, and they would bring them out for refreshing treats, and the migrant workers would shave the ice down, and then they would take the sugarcane and they would press it, and they would take the sugarcane juice and they poured over the ice, and that was their refreshing treat. So it wasn't really until I started kind of I had sort of a weird aha moment about it. And here I am living in Whistler, and we have this amazing farming community in Pemberton. And I was like, well, farmers, shave ice, product over ice. And it just sort of, it kind of happened one day where I said, quit your job, I've got the idea. We're gonna go to the berry farmers, and we're gonna buy berries, and we're gonna make the syrups ourselves, because I'm not having you serve the blue raspberry and all those other really weird things that make your mouth a million different colors. And so he said, okay, and it actually took a little bit of convincing, because it's a scary prospect to leave your job with stability and to kind of say, I'm going to go make snow cones now. And so we did it. And I at the time was working for Kelly Clarkson, and I had a really great job with her year round, and I turned around and I said, I gotta go. And she thought I was a bit crazy, as everybody else did, and my husband gave in his notice, and we did it for a summer. And it was literally just a summer job for us to transition out of those jobs and then to figure out what we wanted to do. And so we did the farmers markets, and as you know, the farmers markets, you have to make it, bake it, or grow it. So there was no room for us to kind of bring in other syrups. We had to make everything. And I have a little bit of flavor ADD, so I was just constantly creating. We actually do about 40 different flavors over the course of the year, and which is a little crazy, but whatever. But it wasn't until the end of the summer that a friend of ours, Norm and Natasha, they are the owners of Nona Pia's balsamic reduction, and they gave us 10 cases of their bottles, empty bottles, and they said, here, throw your syrups in the bottles and see what happens. And I was like, well, no, we're a snow cone stand. I don't want to bottle this stuff. That's really scary. We have no idea. I don't know how to can, let alone put anything into a bottle. And but we did it, and within 2 hours we sold out. And I thought, oh, okay, well, here's an option. But instead, the summer came to an end, and we took all our money, our snow cone money, and we took a 5-month road trip, and eating our way across America, and looking at other business models. And again, we were like, ooh, we could do that. But it always came back to, but God, we had a really good time. And we had a lot of fun doing what we were doing, and so we decided to go back and do it. And this time it posed new challenges, because we said, okay, we're going to bottle these syrups, and we're going to put a label on it, and we're going to do all the right stuff. We're going to do the proper stuff. But I hated every label that came my way, and I hated everything that people were suggesting, and people were saying, oh, you have to do that. People love to tell you what you should do when you're starting. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, we were there too. Trust me, you'll get past that and you'll go and do this, and this is what you're gonna do. Well, you don't have to listen to them. I didn't want to do all of that. I don't want to be on the shelves of supermarkets. That's not what I want to do. I want to make something that's really special, that you come to the market to. I get to meet you, you get to meet me. I get to do a little market research too, because I get to see what you like and what you're doing with the product right then and there, and I get to sort of kind of move it forward from there. And the thought of putting it on the shelf is kind of scary, because I lose that kind of control, and yes, I am a control freak. And yeah, and so it's been a bit of a big process. We've gone through a lot of different labels. We actually have a new label coming out next week that is actually technically shelf ready for smaller boutique stores that we're going into. But it's not, I really realize that going to events like with that I don't really want to go into that market. And that was a really tough decision, because I thought that was what success was, is that you make this great product, everybody wants it, everybody's coming to you, and it's really flattering when all these different stores come and say to you, we want your product on our shelves. And that sounds really all well and good. And then when you really think of the reality of going through distribution, or saying, yeah, we need 150 cases next week, and I'm gonna freak out and say, I can make 10. How about that? I'm not looking for co-packers, because I'm working with local farmers to make the syrups, because we're using mostly local ingredients, not all local, but a lot. And yeah, so it was a tough decision, but with a decision that we made, that we're going to stay a farmers market business, we're going to go into boutique stores, and we're not going to play by the rules, because we want to still just do it our way, and still have the connection with everybody. So that's my one word of advice is, I don't regret any choice that I've made along the way. The only thing is I wish I hadn't got in my head caught up with when people said, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z, because you don't necessarily have to do it that way. I'm sure there's, oh, and by the way, I don't have a business plan. I know the Van City guys going, oh, terrible. But you can, exactly like Elena said, you can be successful. You have to define what successful is to you and what it is that you really want to get out of it. I make a living selling snow cones, and I like it.